Hey guys, this is Anthony over at MMOBomb.com, and today I'll be doing a first look for Galahad 3093 on PC. Just like in previous first look videos, I'll guide you guys through the beginning hours and hit all the major points so you can get a general feel for the in-game features, gameplay, and other areas while talking about the positives and negatives. This way you can decide if this game is worth your time or not from my starting impressions. Developed by Semitronics, Galahad 3093 is currently in early access and recently became free to play on October 24th. The developer advertises Galahad as a tactical hero shooter where knights of Arthurian legend clash in giant mechanized lances. These mechs will battle across 5 vertical sci-fi arenas in a 12v12 format. My early experience with the game reflects that description very accurately. Fans who are looking for a mech title similar to Hawken will be attracted to Galahad 3093. However, it is in a premature condition, so going in without any expectations and seeing what's what is best. As for what is available, it's a mixed bag of great and poor in-game execution. For example, heated combat exchanges between lances are gripping and can feel satisfying, but clunky at times where precise and quick inputs matter. The streamlined lance customization is easy to understand and maintains complexity for building unique builds, but it takes a while to get invested and it's a bit grindy and dependent on arena matches that you have little control over in some respects. Just about every positive has a underwhelming negative, and I wish that wasn't the case. Despite its shortcomings, Galahad 3093 has a lot going for it. The roster of heroes like Arthur and Gwen have abilities just as cool as their attire, and certain playstyles, whether aggressively up in your face or deadly at range, are fun and it's easy to mix and match your weapons and your entire kit as a whole. The game also nudges you to experiment and is perfect for plug and play thanks to its accessible practice mode and preset builds. These design choices will appeal to different kinds of players, which feels like a primary focus for Semitronics. The devs have also done a great job of addressing community feedback with consistent patches almost every week. I have hope for this game, but everything always boils down to the starting hours players will experience. Early players will find their footing in Galahad 3093 by first going through the tutorial. It will give them an assortment of directions to get their feet wet before diving into online play. That includes instructions on how to sprint across the ground with boosters, use boost jump, utilizing the 4 weapons on the lance, learn how to use utility items, and activate skills and ultimates of a knight hero. The short tutorial will segue into a mock match with bots at one of the 5 maps in the game to show the players the ropes. Here, players will gain insight into capturing spawning points for the team while battling enemy forces. Also, there are bases that players can control. Whichever team captures them will gain additional support from automatic turrets and features like warp pads to get around multi-layered bases quicker. Once players get that feel on how everything works, they can move on to mech customization and the armory. A feature I really appreciated after the tutorial was preset lance and knight builds that I could select in the armory. These builds had specialized roles such as tank, sniper, base assault support, and the aggressive duelist, and they were matched with certain knights for me to test in game. The lance loadouts are very different and will ease players into the rotation of understanding how weapons, utility items, abilities, and more function over time. At the same time, new players can wing it and figure things out however they want. For myself, I wanted to shoot laser bullets, rockets, and deploy turrets on the ground to cover my back. Creating a mech like that is as simple as going to the armory and switching out your primary, secondary, and deployable item kit. Players will have access to every weapon and utility item immediately. Players can choose between 8 knights, which includes Gwen, who can put down barriers, and Owain, who can create a pulsating storm that damages anybody nearby. The complexity of mech's customization comes from modding, choosing a variant type and deciding one of the 4 lance sizes. Mods range from offensive to sensor buffs that builds the strength of a lance and can also cover its weaknesses. By leveling the variant type, which kind of functions like a subclass almost, players can increase the level of mods, enhance stats like armor and shield regen, and eventually branch into newer and more powerful variants. Each of the 4 lance sizes, light, medium, heavy, and super heavy, have drastically different variants that players can unlock. This shows that Galahad 3093 has a surprisingly deep customization. To level variants of mods though, players will need hammer and gold resources earned from matches. As a full disclaimer, MMOBomb received the current DLC starter pack from the devs that gave resources helping to level up. For $10 you can get a big amount, but you won't really reap the benefits from them until you unlock additional variants. So you can see it more as a hefty starter pool of resources for when you're ready, and not something that jumps you instantly in power and is play to win. My only issue with customization are the variants and how grindy it can be to unlock them. Within my 5 to 6 hours of playtime, I struggled with gaining new variants at the beginning because of their requirements. These requirements are as simple as win 3 matches, but can become a big niche, like tasking players with becoming an MVP of a game match several times, or some other specific factor that does not mesh well with how matches really are in game. Galahad has 2 game modes, Team Deathmatch and Base Assault, that more or less play out the same way, but Base Assault has some additional complexity. There will be 4 generators hidden somewhere around the bases that will need to be destroyed before fully capturing the points. These modes sound all well and good, but truthfully they boil down to matches ran by bots and a small handful of players. I don't think I had one match where there wasn't one bot, and usually whoever had the most of either team had a lot of trouble capturing points and making coordinated kills. Galahad 3093 wants to sell that players will need to strategize together, but as it is now, it becomes a bot fest and it gets further away from completing objectives and more about just killing the other team. Players will also get frustrated with the in-game optimization. The frame rate will drop at moments when you need to get out of dodge and during heated exchanges. When everything is smooth, combat is great, but often it's a bit janky with performance dips. The match experience was disappointing, yet equally fun when everything works out as the developers might have intended. It feels undercooked technically and mechanically is still trying to find its footing, but the free entryway into Galahad 3093 could sway you to give it a shot. Players interested in Galahad 3093 have the luxury of trying out free-to-play, and it's by no means a abandoned game. The developers are constantly putting in patches and even addressed boost jump being hard to maneuver and added a visual arc to help with gauging jumps. Because it became free-to-play recently, has went through rounds of beta testing and is technically still in early access, you have to take some parts of it with a grain of salt. Though at its core, Galahad 3093 has an impressive foundation that many mech fans have been wanting to feel in the absence of other games like it. Well, that wraps up my final thoughts on Galahad 3093 on PC. If the game sounds like your cup of tea and you'd like to get your hands on it, check it out on Steam or Epic Games Store and give it a shot. Once you do, be sure to come back and let us know how your experience went in the comments. Also, thank you for watching my review. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, hit that bell and give us a like. It goes a long way and we appreciate your support. This is Anthony with MMOBomb.com signing off.